Hey everybody, this is Chris at Zenark Reptiles. Thank you for joining me once again. And this is the part where I usually always say, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and what it does for you. The reason why I always do that is because YouTube has what's called an algorithm, and what happens, the more subscribers you get, the more it pushes your videos. And I'm just trying to get my name out there and my videos out there. So if any of these videos ever help you out or even motivate you, please like and subscribe. And what that does for me, that's the way you can thank me and help me get my videos out there. And that's the reason why I do that and always ask, because that's just the way that the system works. And YouTube is kind of strange, but that's the reason why. Anyways, guys, I do appreciate you guys watching my videos, being part of my life, and being part of my family's life. Thank you so much. So, give you some things, some starter tips if you're planning on breeding reptiles. So you're wanting to breed ball pythons. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the community. I'm happy to see you here. More people, the merrier. This is a great community, and I'll be the first one to welcome you here, congratulate you. Now, and this is where some people make mistakes. First of all, the first thing you should do is study and watch videos and make sure you have the right equipment. Just make sure you're doing it right. Because with reptiles, especially ball pythons, everybody has their own opinion. So what you gotta do is kind of read books, watch videos, read forums and different things, and kind of take the middle ground is usually what's correct, because you have people that are extreme over here, people that are extreme over here. I found out usually if you go right in the middle, it's usually where it's right. Everybody, I'm just saying, a lot of people want to put their opinion in there, and they think this is like a doctrine. It's more of opinion, and this over here, you gotta find a happy medium ground to breed these things and also, raise these things. So even if you're becoming just a pet owner and you want to get a ball python, people will tell you that what temperature to have them over here. People say a different temperature. It's a crazy thing, because it seems like it'd be really easy because a lot of people have ball pythons, but for some reason there's so many different suggestions how to keep them. But definitely do your research, put your time in, and when you bring that pet home or this collection home, it'll be safe, and you know that you're protecting whatever you're bringing home, your investments. Well, anyways, number two, you need to have the right equipment. Now, I'm not saying you have to go buy an ARS rack. I'm not saying you don't have to buy a expensive rack. You don't have to buy all this equipment, but you need to get something that you just make sure that you test your heat out and everything before they get home. Definitely get the right equipment. Before I'd get a snake, I would test for a week and make sure my heats don't fluctuate and everything's safe and ready before you get them. Instead of having it going when they get there and you might have problems. Okay, the third thing I can tell you is you need to make a plan. What I'm saying is that in the ball python world, there's so many different morphs, so many different color schemes to work with. So before you go out and buy a bunch of snakes that you think are pretty, you need to find out what you can breed, because there is genes that are actually toxic. They cannot cross. They'll actually die. What they call them is lethal combos. There's actually like you have desert ghost, and then you have the desert. The females can't breed. You gotta do your research and make sure what you're getting is right, but also you need to make a plan. What I'm talking about making a plan is just to go out and buy a bunch of random snakes. So say you want to be you want to breed clowns. And I understand that you want to put all these different colors and morphs into these clowns, but you need to get your clowns in order and get you some females. Don't go buy a bunch of males, buy females. And if you're having the money issues to start out, get you some het clowns. There's nothing wrong with hets. People want to spend all this money on getting a visual. Now, that being said, if you buy het clowns, make sure you buy it from a reputable person. And I'm not saying that not everybody on morph market is reputable. So far, I've had a pretty good luck. I've only had one person actually try to stick it to me. For the most part, I've been pretty lucky. But when it comes to hets, I'm a little more picky. I go through them, and like if you're doing a pied project, it's pretty easy to see the visual on. They're the only ones that show, that I know of personally, I might be wrong, that show the visual of the het trait. Not always, but there's a good chance. I mean, I have quite a few hets down there that actually show the visual, and they are hets. They've proven out. But just make sure you buy it from someone that their name attached to quality. What I mean by that is, like, you buy a snake from Jessica Boca and it really wasn't a het. That'd be surprising to me, because this man spent his whole life building up a reputation, and for about 18 years of being, you know, one of the best ball python breeders. He's not going to tarnish it by selling you a non-het animal. Same with Aussie Boyds and a lot of the other guys that have been doing this for a long time. Just saying that when you buy hets, just make sure you're buying the correct thing. But from my experience so far, everybody, for the most part, on Morph Market has been pretty good and legit. Also, another thing you can do is ask and see the parents. You know, if it looks like some picture you see cropped from like a Google, you know, images, you know, it's got a problem, or, you know, just want to see, ask for the parents and you want to see them. If they're really the breeder, they'll show you. I've always ordered them from other people. I mean, people I knew, but I still ask for they see the adults. It just gives you that peace of mind. Let's get back to this though. But you need to make a plan. You need to plan out what you want to do. So if you want to just do, like, say, a pied project, make sure you buy pied, either het or pied females. Don't buy a bunch of other stuff. Don't buy, you know, leopards. Don't buy. Don't get you know, astray with other things. That's one thing I can tell you. You gotta stick with the plan and buy that, and then move on to something else. So if you want to do clowns, get clowns first, you know, or het clowns. Just, that's what the thing is. You gotta keep a focus, and you can't. It's hard to, when you go to a reptile show and you see all these amazing snakes. Oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. Just like me, it's like hard for me to go to reptile shows and I want a retic, and I want a Burmese python, and I want this, and I want, you know, I want an Asian water monitor, and I want to waste all my money, not waste, but I want to put all my money into that, and I need to worry about what I'm doing here. It's hard sometimes. Like, I want all these things, but I need to stick with this right now, and then once this is way more successful, then I can worry about these things. So you gotta keep tunnel vision on this. Keep your eyes on the prize. It'll work a lot better for you. And you can get pied with, like, say, like I have right now. I have pieds with different morphs in there. I have like a pied cypress and different things like that. That you know, het pied cypress. I'm sorry. You can get all these in order and raise them up, and then you can get you another het male. Personally, I would get a visual male because they're not that expensive for pied. Now, clowns can be a lot more expensive. It depends on how much money you got to work with. And don't be ashamed to start low. When I first started out, I didn't have tons of money, because, I mean, not that I'm poor or nothing like that, but you're spending a lot of money on these snakes, and you have to work your way up there. That's why you breed some, sell some, and buy more. It's a thing where you trade up. It's just like you're always trading up. Take it like a trading card game. You're always trading up to better snakes. I'm not saying you give your snakes to boot, but you're constantly trying to build better snakes. So, like, say I breed I have a het female and I have a het male. Say I have a het pied and I have a het pied cypress. So they breed together, and I have a visual pied cypress. That, I'm gonna keep that one, and that's gonna be my better snake for the future. Now that has the visual pied look and the cypress in there, that's automatically a better snake to breed. So I'm gonna hold that one back, sell all the other ones, and then I'm gonna, you know, add to my collection. So that's how you do it. You slowly build up, and, you know, when you get more genes in there, you keep those snakes, and then you move up. So, but make a plan. Don't just go out and buy a bunch of random snakes. That's what the big problem people I see is, like, everybody that starts out. Even me, I did it a little bit too. I bought some things that I wasn't planning on doing just because I liked them. I was like, oh, that's cool, and I bought them, and a couple of them I had to sell because it wasn't something I was even going to work with, but I just thought it was amazing. So just be mindful of whatever you're doing. Make sure you get, you know, what you're planning on doing. Now that's another one with having a side project, because I have more than one project. I've always said in other videos, and I've told people that ask me, you should have 2 projects. You should have a recessive project and a dominant project. And the reason why I say that is that you can mix them both, but the problem is that codoms and the dominants, they breed. I mean, you can get colors a lot faster. And I use those projects to actually fund my recessive projects, because recessives cost a lot more money. I mean, I was looking on Morph Market today, buying snakes. I got one today. I actually put one on hold from Ozzy today. But like, say like I'm looking for a pied het desert ghost. On Morph Market, it's still about $1,200 for a pied het desert ghost. I mean, hets are worth a lot of money long as they're legit. So just make sure you plan out and don't go crazy and get the females that you need. I kind of addressed this already. Another thing you should do is buy females first. It takes females a lot longer to grow than males. This is one thing I did correctly, but I know a lot of people that bought males and females, and you're spending all that money feeding that male, and you can't use them. So you should buy your females first and feed them, fatten them up, and get them ready to breed. And then about, like, say like you bought like you have a pied female you want to breed. So you know that she's probably, say, about I'd say 1,000 grams. Then buy you, or about 800 grams, buy you the male, because the males can grow up pretty quick. A male only needs to be about 500 grams around there to breed. You saw my little Thatcher. He's my banana. He's my first one. He only eats mice, and live mice at that, so I don't buy him food all the time. Every time I go I think about it, but every 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I go buy him a mouse. And the mice I feed him are tiny here. They don't have large mice like you can get frozen, so he don't grow very fast, but he breeds just fine. So males can breed a lot faster than females. So don't buy a bunch of males, buy some females. And another reason you don't buy the males right away is because, say you spent $1,000 on this male. Say you got a pied cypress, I don't know, leopard, and you spent like $1,500 on this thing. Well, maybe about 2 years from now, when you actually need the male, that price might be a lot cheaper. So it don't make sense to put the money up front for a male you can't use for a couple years. Now, kind of like me now, I'm looking for a lot more males, because I've got all these females that are ready, and I'm trying to think which ones I'm going to breed and what I'm going to do. But right now I'm trying to buy hatchlings and fatten them up to get for my new females coming up. That's one thing I did right when I started, is that I only bought females. I did get one male, which was Thatcher. I have other males now, but it was just because I bought this snake from somebody and they gave it to me for free. So anyways, guys, make a plan of what you're doing. You know, don't rush in. And that's the big mistake. Don't rush in. You know, you have all this time to make these snakes. I understand that you want to catch up with all these people, but I mean, I'm not planning on catching up with Jessica Boca and Billy Rose anytime soon, and I am okay with that. You should be okay with that too, because if you don't, you might need to not do this, because it don't happen overnight. Justin Gaboka has been doing this for like 18 years, and even if you bought some of his really high-end snakes, it's going to take a lot longer to get all the stuff that he has, and you just got to realize that and be content with what you're making and build your colony up. I mean, the more that you breed these back and you breed different snakes into them, the more colors and morphs you bring in there, they're gonna be amazing snakes and banging snakes. And also, don't be afraid to, you know, do something different. Like right now, clowns are super popular, and I have to say that Justin made clowns. You know, he brought them into like the mainstream. There's other people too, but Justin's what I'm thinking off the top of my head. Everybody wants clowns. There's a lot of other things to work with. Just, you know, be your own person. Think of what makes, what physically or, you know, mentally stimulates you, what stimulates your eyes. Because what I think is beautiful might be different than somebody else. I mean, I might like abstract art, and someone else might like, you know, someone else might like realism. Just, you know, everybody has their own personality and different things, and there's gonna be someone else like you that likes what you're doing. You know, you just gotta figure out what you want to work with, stick with it, and don't, you know, teeter. Just go with it, run with it, and you will have, you know, someday you'll have some amazing snakes, and you might make a name for yourself in that community. So I hope this helps you out, because I kind of wish this video was here for me when I first started out, because I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I rushed in. I was already studied up how to take care of ball pythons. Anytime I get an animal, I'm the type of person I have to study hard how to take care of something, because I don't want their life is in my hands, so I want to make sure I do it right. But don't rush in. Make a plan. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't plan out what morphs I want to work with, and I just kind of like, well, that one's pretty, I'll buy that one. That one's pretty, I'll buy that one. Now I know which genes I want to work with the most. I'm not saying I want to dabble in other stuff. There's nothing wrong with dabbling. Dabbling is something you do after you get the main core snakes, your breeding snakes. Then you can dabble and have fun with that. But you got to get your core breeders in line before you do that. And just make sure you have the right equipment. Don't have to be expensive equipment, but just have the right equipment and test it out before you bring them home, because you don't want to buy, you know, a $300, $600, $1,000 snake and then have something happen to it because you didn't have the right equipment, or say you got shocked or something because you didn't do something right. Just take your time, ease yourself into it, and you will be an amazing breeder someday. Anyways, guys, I love you. If you guys would check out some of my videos right here, I'll have one right here. Awesome. Subscribe. I'm not gonna beat that anymore. Anyways, guys, I love you. I'll see you next time. Later.